Our sex hormones affect almost all aspects of our bodily health, so it's really important to think about how balanced they are. I recognise that not everyone who experiences periods or goes through menopause identifies as a woman, but I hope my advice is supportive for all. I think it's fair to say that our sex hormones often do more than we give them credit for. So as well as controlling our periods and how we go through menopause, they also control other things like our weight, our mood, our skin, even our heart health. So it's really important to think holistically when it comes to managing hormone balance. One of the main things that can affect hormones is stress. We all experience daily levels of stress, and if we're not finding ways to manage that, that can have a real knock-on effect on our sex hormones and our periods. Managing stress is definitely easier said than done for some people, but one really helpful tip that I've found is for us each to take some time out each day for ourselves. Ideally, that would be an hour to do, say, an exercise class, yoga, dance, go for a walk in nature, or a hobby, whatever calms you. But even if you can't take an hour out every day for yourself, maybe you could find 20 minutes or 2 hours a week on a weekly basis. Diet can have a really big impact on how balanced our hormones are as well. Our sex hormones are made up of good fats, so it's really important to get the right levels of good quality fats in our diet. Foods rich in oils like avocado, hemp seed oil, extra virgin olive oil, those can all be really helpful in providing good quality fats. So I try to get some of those into my diet each day, and it can be as simple as drizzling some olive oil on your vegetables. Refined sugar can really affect our hormonal balance, so it's important to have a think about how much you're eating and make some simple changes. Instead of eating milk chocolate, for example, because we all fancy a treat now and then, you could substitute it for dark chocolate, which is much lower in sugar. Menstruation's a natural part of life, but some people have an easier time of it than others. Practicing menstrual cycle awareness can be really helpful to tune in to how our mood and energy levels shift each month. It can be a very empowering process. And if we are experiencing difficult periods, it can be a sign that things are out of balance. There's a growing movement called menstruality, inspired by the founders of the Red School. And menstrual cycle awareness is pretty simple, really. It's taking a note each day of what day of your cycle you're on and tuning into how you're feeling, your energy levels, how you're sleeping, things like that, because it can really shift each month. I've noticed at the start of the month, so day one of my cycle, when my period starts, is quite often a low energy time. So I really give myself permission to rest and retreat from the world. And then I notice that my energy really starts to rise towards ovulation, and I'm at peak energy, peak power, and I can get a lot done, maybe double what I get done on other days of my cycle. And then I notice again energy starting to dip during my period itself. So again, I really try and manage my diary, take things out that aren't essential. I go for gentle walks instead of more intense exercise. Something I've noticed personally is when you're feeling peak power mid-cycle around your ovulation, it can be really tempting to fill up your diary with work commitments and social commitments because you're feeling so good. But as the diary goes on and you come towards your bleed, sometimes energy levels are lower and you don't feel like what you committed to. So it's a good watch out not to overcommit around ovulation for the second half of your cycle. Sleep is really important as well. If our hormones are out of balance, it can affect how much sleep we're getting, especially how much restorative sleep. And also, if we're not getting enough sleep, it can have a knock-on effect on our hormonal balance. The main tip for people struggling to sleep is to have a good evening wind-down routine. If we've got children, we spend quite a lot of time getting them ready for bed in a nice routine, and then we may let that go for ourselves. So have a warm bath, have a nice cup of herbal tea, read a nice relaxing book, and give yourself time to wind down before your head hits the pillow. Menopause can be quite a difficult time for many, but it can also be quite a liberating experience. And I've noticed that if you take some proactive steps in the 5 to 10 years before your periods actually stop, you can have an easier transition. As a woman in her late 40s, I can say the key thing is to manage stress and also get enough rest. It's really easy to be looking after everybody else's needs before we prioritise our own, but this is really a time in your life to invest in rest, delegate when you can, find some ways to manage stress on a daily basis. Lots of people find journaling quite helpful for this. So just as with menstrual cycle awareness, tuning into your daily cycle, even if your periods have stopped, you can still be using tools like journaling to tune into how your mood and energy levels are changing each day. Getting some daily exercise and movement is really important for impacting our mood, our energy levels, helping maintain a healthy weight. For menopausal women, bone density can be an important health issue. So doing weight-bearing exercise like going for a really brisk walk or a jog, or holding your own body weight in yoga poses like plank pose can be really helpful for this. It's always helpful to talk to friends or other people who've gone through difficult periods or menopause and find out what's been helpful for them. And I'd recommend talking to a health practitioner if any symptoms to do with your periods or menopause are seriously affecting your quality of life and you're concerned about them. For more information, head to puckerherbs.com.